Hello everyone, Alyssa Lightman here with Realty One Group Dockside, and welcome back to the Lightman Show. Today we'll be talking about putting your home on the market and our take as professionals on different websites consumers use for their real estate needs. I'll also share my top picks of the week. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, and share with friends and family. And you can also comment below with any questions and topics you'd like us to discuss in the next video. So let's get started. So putting your home on the market, as a homeowner, what questions to ask and what to look for? How to choose the preferred professionals that you can trust.
Well, I think that's the key word is trust, right? You've got to choose somebody that you have a relationship with, that you could trust. In my opinion, the first step is finding out what your home is worth, and the best way to do that is to hire a realtor who can evaluate the property and give you their opinion. But again, it's got to be somebody you trust, really.
Yeah, I think education, self-education is important too. I mean, there's so much technology today with some online sites to say what homes like my homes are selling for, right? So there's, in some cases, you have a very educated consumer coming in looking to sell their home actually, and it is about the trust factor, but I think, the technology has taken a lot of the big question marks away in some cases when we didn't have that technology and they were 100% dependent on getting the right guidance. It could go the wrong way sometimes. In today's world, it sort of, levels the playing field with the technology that is available. Let's say, okay.
I disagree.
I'm looking at it from a consumer perspective.
Yeah, from a consumer perspective, you think, okay, there are all these opportunities for me to determine what the value of my property is. Is that what you?
Depending on the type of property.
Right,
like condominium is a condominium
right.
For the most part. If you're in a project or a PUD, a planned urban development, where all the homes are basically the same, outside of maybe some finishing work, you're kind of pretty close. If you're in a neighborhood that is more diverse, you have colonials, you have ranches, then you really need someone that understands.
But you also have to take into account the condition on the inside. Mm-hmm. See, there's many condos, they might be the same, they might look the same, but the condition inside might be different. And that's where appraisers come in, that's where a good CMA comes in, which is a comparative market analysis comes in. And that's very important for homeowners to know what their actual home is worth, not just generally what would a condo in this area would be worth. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think you hit it there because it's really how you maintain your home. And if you're looking if you think your home's worth, most people do think their home's worth $500,000, and the appraiser says it's worth 100 or 250, and the lender's saying it's worth 100. So there's a medium in between that you have to look at. Where really is the value of your home based on what the condition of the house is? Because that does make a difference.
I'm sorry, in the end, your house is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it.
Absolutely.
And so if the condition is not where it needs to be, you're not going to get top dollar. And I think having a realtor come in, having an appraiser come in, those are things that can help you realize where your home is lacking and what you can fix up before you even think about putting it on the market, and then you might get the top dollar that you're looking for.
People in experience go get a home inspector to go in for themselves to see what was wrong with their house, if anything, to know what would come up. And then they could disclose it and say it's leverage for them, it's negotiating.
Especially with resales, homes
Absolutely.
that are not, brand new or not a couple of years old. You're out of your warranties now. You need to know what's going on before an actual buyer makes an offer, and now you have an inspection, you have surprises.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So the next question or the next topic we're going to be talking about is our take as professionals on different websites consumers use for their real estate needs. What do you guys think about that?
So this is where I disagree with Ed. You know, there are a lot of sites out there that have, you know, I could look up online and somebody would tell me what they think my house is worth right now. But I can tell you that it's not true. It's the value is either way too high or
Like
way
this
too low.
estimates,
Right, right. There are lots of websites out there that start with Z's that you can use for that sort of thing. And it's nice to sort of just look and browse. And but when you really want to know the true value, you've got to get the professionals, in my opinion. The
Well,
websites to
I
start
mean, look,
with.
I definitely agree with that, and I think the point, not to go backwards, but the point was, you know, when you're looking to sell your home, you really need to, because people think their home is worth this, and it's really worth that. It's the data, it's the education, whether it's presented by an agent or self-taught, or a combination of the two to get them to a point that's realistic. Because again, your home is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. However, if on average people are willing to pay X for a home like yours, then if you're selling your home, you have to come to the reality that, hey, this is just where this is where it's at. But you know, the sites that I like the best, honestly, aren't any of the big national brands that most people heard. You know, I think that looking at apps and sites that the real estate professionals themselves have really are connected directly to this market, and more intuitive and easier to work through some of the more national sites. So I like those if I'm looking to sell or buy.
Right. Good idea. You know, Alyssa, going back to our first topic just a little bit, one question that people, especially if they're coming from up north down here, that they don't know the answer to is, do they need to have an attorney? And in South Carolina, folks, you do have to have an attorney to close your sale. So that's something that's different in, you know, a lot of places around here.
I have heard that up
yeah.
north where they say, well, why do I need an attorney?
Yeah.
And, you know,
They have title agents up there.
Yes.
And the title agents do all the work. Down here, the attorneys are the title agents. And so everybody gets their own attorney, or you can share an attorney either way.
Well, it's interesting too, because in my state of New Jersey, it's an attorney state in a sense. It's a title state, but in a purchase transaction, the attorneys are really the ones doing all the work.
they're doing the offers, aren't they?
Why I have so much respect for the agents here at the beach in South Carolina, at least this state, is the agents are doing that. It's signed. It's a contract state. That contract is signed. There's no attorney review. There's no one in up north and in multiple other states. First thing that happens is the contract gets ripped up and rewritten by the attorney.
Right.
And that's why you have an attorney review period. Here, there is no attorney review. When that is signed, you are in contract.
Yeah.
And for people that are looking to sell their home, they're either renting or they're buying another home. So, you know, from a mortgage perspective, I think it's very important that if you're just thinking of selling, start talking to a mortgage professional out of the gate, because if you're selling, you could very well be buying. And do I need to sell to buy? Can I, you know, because sometimes there's that transition where can I do all this at the same time, or can I buy first, sell, and make that move easier?
The moving parts have to be in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is a big question. A lot of people are downsizing, upsizing, or moving even in the same area. Some are moving south, some are moving north, and they still need to know. They still have to kind of figure out what their options are, because they are buying, they're moving somewhere.
Being prepared, I think, is the key.
Yes.
Because a sale doesn't always go through.
Right.
On either side, it could be one thing or another that stops it. So now the seller's in a position where they have a house they're buying. Can they buy it on a contingency, which is another topic down the road? And or the buyer can't move in because the seller can't do something and they've already sold their place. So
And by the way, and then there's another buyer and another
Another
seller
buyer.
behind that.
Right.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
it could go 3, 4 deep
It can be a chain
and
reaction when
affect
something
many,
goes
many,
wrong.
many people if
The
you're not
best thing you
prepared.
can do is be prepared.
absolutely.
So let's start with some of the questions that a lot of homeowners have when they're getting ready to put their home on the market and listing their home. So the first one I have here is a listing agreement.
So that's a question for you, Alyssa. The listing agreement, folks, is the agreement that you sign with the agent for them to list your property for sale. So how long are those typically written for?
Well, usually they are 6 months to a year, but it really depends on the average days on the market. So you need to talk to your agent and make sure that you understand the market in your neighborhood and in that area. How long does it take for your home to sell and go from there?
Good answer, good answer. I love it.
So the next question is actually for you guys for lending, bank requirements. What do sellers or homeowners need to kind of consider when it comes to banking?
When selling their home.
So when selling their home, yes, and I know that a lot of homeowners don't even consider that, don't think about it. What do you guys think?
Well, I think the first thing that they need to understand is they could have any buyer. It could be a cash buyer where there's really no bank requirements. It could be someone coming in that needs a mortgage lending to obtain a mortgage. And really, it's safety and it's the mechanicals, heating, air conditioning, water systems, et cetera, that everything is in general working order and there's no safety issues.
And that spins off of maybe getting a home inspection prior to listing your home, so you know what those points are. The other thing they want to look for is there's different types of buyers. Like Ed was saying, there's cash buyers, there's people that have limited money, people with limited credit. So there's things that you have to be aware of on those different programs. How's that going to affect what they have to have done for the house, for that buyer to come in?
I have a question. If they're buying for a second home as opposed to a primary residence, would there be any differences there as far as requirements? Okay, good.
But from a banking perspective, we're concerned about the safety and functionality of the home. There could be cosmetic issues, paint, et cetera, depending on the product, right? You could be doing the buyer could be an FHA buyer and you have chipping paint or scrape paint somewhere or something unpainted and no wood surfacing can be seen. It needs to be, painted for FHA. So that's another topic and another episode, but
Yeah.
be prepared, be prepared. If you were the buyer, what would you be looking for and make your home look like that?
And so I guess that's why, as a seller, it's important to understand the offer that you receive, to know about that buyer, what kind of loan they're getting, and that sort of thing. Because and ask your will to those questions. How is this going to affect me? So.
A good point there is to ask, are they pre-approved? Have you seen their credit? You can ask those questions. You don't have to know what it is, but it's good for them to ask. Do they have the funds? Have you seen the funds? These are questions that we're asked all the time from sellers' agents. They're asked, what have you seen? How can I know? Because so many people put pre-qualifications out that on people that actually can't buy. So they go through that process and then the position where and then now their house is up again. So that kind of doesn't help them as a seller.
So really, the pre-qualification is a verbal approval where the bank doesn't really see the documentation and they give you the document based on the information that you've given them?
That goes back to the first episode when we were talking about pre-qualification versus pre-approval versus pre-commitment.
Yes.
But unfortunately, like in a lot of businesses, you have folks that do the right thing and you have folks that just kind of take shortcuts. And when you're talking about a large investment, whether you're buying or selling, you need to be with a team, whether it's the agent, bank, attorney, that are not taking shortcuts. Because you're talking about potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars along with a life-altering event about to happen, whether you're purchasing or selling. You need to know that you're dealing with folks that know what's going on. But the point is, yes, I mean, there are pre-qualifications, there's pre-approvals that are handed out that unfortunately the buyer may still
But
not
typically a
qualify.
pre-approval, it would be based
Should have
on
looked at all
actual
the documents,
documentation.
looked at the documents and knew that. And then a pre-commitment is, if a bank like both of ours do, would take that documentation, put it into underwriting and get an
That would be
underwriting
after the
commitment.
ratification.
No, that could be done beforehand.
It could be?
Yes.
Could be done beforehand. And that's a whole nother episode, but that's really preparing somebody to purchase. And if I were a seller and I had 3 buyers, one with a pre-qualification, one with a pre-approval, and one with a pre-commitment, and all else was equal, and even if the pre-commitment offer was $2,000 less than the others, but this person I know has already been underwritten prior to even putting their offer in, subject on the property, that's the next strongest offer to cash that you can possibly get.
From an attorney's perspective, if they've already been underwritten, then our part of the job is a lot faster.
We can close
Yeah.
as quickly as you get title in, we
Right.
can close. Title and appraisal.
Yep.
And again, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
buyer
we'll talk about that.
buyer advantage.
My pick of the week is Parkland, a private single-family residential community located in the Legends Resort and surrounded by the Parkland Golf Course. Parkland offers top amenities, starting with a 4,000 square foot owner clubhouse with a meeting room, card room, fitness area, and a fully equipped kitchen. The outdoor amenities include a large swimming pool, bocce ball, kids play area, as well as tennis and basketball courts. The Parkland Golf Course takes its place alongside the award-winning Heathland and Moorland courses, opened for play in 1992 and modeled after the style of architects Alistair Mackenzie and George Thomas. Homeowners enjoy attending many events hosted in Parkland, such as book clubs, wine tasting, and much more. They also enjoy the great golf specials and can take their golf carts to the resort restaurant and bar, or the famous Elsa Pub, where many fun events and gatherings are hosted for homeowners. Elsa Pub offers fine food, outdoor seating, swimming pool, and hot tub. There are 16 homes for sale currently and 2 under contract. The average days on the market in this neighborhood is 221 days. Sold prices range between $274,000 and $545,000 in the last 12 months. Click on the link in the description below to see what's available now. Thank you for watching. Alyssa Lightman here, and until next time, this is The Lightman Show.
Thank you.